Hello everybody, my name is Charlie and you're watching Eckstoo. Today I wanted to go back to the Imperial Star Destroyer III, or the ISD if you prefer. We've covered this ship on the channel twice over before. We did an overview of the ship and we also did an ISD 1, 2 and 3 against each other. But I wanted to do another versus episode, but this time with a completely different ship. This one being on the Rebellion side, we're going to be looking at the ISD-III versus the Nebula Star Destroyer. I'll go into detail on both ships as they fight each other, but for now we'll just jump in with the ISD-III versus the Nebula Star Destroyer. So I've made this custom map so we can just get straight into the match, not have to worry about getting them together in a galactic conquest. So here we are. So we've covered a lot about the ISD-III here already, but if you are new to this ship, it pretty much has everything an ISD-II has, but more rockets, ion cannons, a magma pulse gun for disabling ships, just a lot of hard points, a lot of damage, and incredible fighter spawning. We're building TIE Vengers here, which are next-gen interceptors. And for the Nebula, they also do spawn next-gen fighters as well. I will try and get the names of those in just a second. It might be a bit different in Awakening and Rebellion instead of Thrawn's Revenge, etc. So we're also seeing the Nebula Star Destroyer using its shield ability there. There we go. So it increases the shields in return for less attack damage. But of course, that doesn't seem to be enough. The ISD-III definitely taking a beating for sure. Now, the Imperial Star Destroyer 3 has 9,000 shield points and 15,000 hull points at speed of 2. And again, 1 TIE Avenger, 2 TIE Interceptors, and 1 TIE Punisher. And on the Nebula side, we have speed of 4, which double the speed of ISD-III. And we have 10,000 shields and 11,000 hull. So not as much hull points as the ISD-III, but just a bit more shield points than the ISD-III in turn. So I'm not going to be using any of our... I'm not going to try and indicate what the fighters do. I'm just trying to keep a hands-off approach, just get the ships close together. Definitely looks like the Nebula is just not going to be able to handle the ISD-III here. I'll probably run this match again, see if increasing the difficulty will do much. I doubt it will, but we'll give it a go anyway. There goes the shield generator and all the other hard points. The Nebula definitely is a smaller ship and with a lot less hard points. So that definitely makes it a lot more vulnerable in terms of hull points being knocked down. We are seeing some damage from the bombers on the Nebula, the ISD-III here. Some of the heavy iron cannons and heavy laser cannons taking some hits, but the rocket launchers definitely staying intact. Now, obviously, the best effective way of beating that Nebula Star Destroyer would be having the rocket launchers go straight for the shield generator. There's 2 shield generators here on the ISD-III, making it a lot harder to take out those shields effectively compared to the Nebula Star Destroyer. So unfortunately, it does lose out. The ISD-III took about half shield points, a little bit of health points. I did do this match previously off camera, and the Nebula Star Destroyer did use its active ability much sooner than this match, meaning that it was able to dish out just a little bit more damage before losing. So this was a bad case scenario for the Nebula, but I'm going to rerun it again, increase the difficulty, see if that does any different. And then after that, we'll do 2 Nebula Star Destroyers against 1 ISD-III. So there we go. Defender's Destroyer, bit of an odd name there, but I mean, the Nebula Star Destroyer is due an update on Awakening and Rebellion. I have spoken to developer Mr. Prez saying that it will get some love at some point in another update, especially since it's using a legacy model compared to other mods. But that's fine. It's definitely going to be updated soon. I am going to, again, increase this to harder AI, see if that changes anything, and we'll rerun it again for round 2 of ISD-III versus Nebula Star Destroyer. So coming straight in again, I'm just going to bring the ship in a bit closer, side by side.
Awaiting your command.
Just about there. So hopefully we might see some active abilities on the Nebula Star Destroyer beforehand. Hopefully. There we go. That is a beast of a ship. It really is. I did mention this in the previous episode. It's got that Imperial Ultra Star Destroyer fan-made ship. We look at that, especially on the hull, as there's a bit of like a concave inward spine on either side of the ship. And here we've got the underside of the ISD-III, Nebula Star Destroyer, just in the distance there, using its shielding ability. It's only got one chance to use it. And there it goes. So if we look back at the health, interesting. This is a much closer match this time. And it seems like the hard AI is actually making moves. Doesn't seem to be attacking the shield generators. Now I know that the Nebula Star Destroyer doesn't actually have any missiles or... oh, no, they do. Sorry, yeah, heavy rocket launchers here. My apologies. So again, you definitely want to be using this and the bombers being spawned. Does it spawn bombers, actually? That's a good point. I'm not sure. Let's have a quick look before we do. Are we able to get some descriptions on these ships? Doesn't look like we can. Okay, that's fine though. I'm unsure if that's actually bombers that spawned. I'll have to look it up. I think those are E-wings, I'm not sure. We'll see, we'll see. But, yes. Other than that, it looks like it's going to be another loss for the Nebula here, despite the increased AI lethality. But it definitely is dealing a lot more damage. It absolutely is. I noticed that the ship has tilted to try and get all hard points working the best it can on accuracy against the ISD-III here. The ISD-III is not utilizing all of this side of its ship effectively compared to this side of the hull. So it is dishing out less damage than a Nebula. But this is why this is the AI specifically choosing this angle to fight at. I assume so. I wouldn't expect this to be luck. But yes, so wow, it might take out the shields in time. Maybe not. Depends on what these interceptors the Nebula has spawned will do. Nebula is about to go down. The last two hard points here are not anything to do with damage dealing. They've just got one heavy rocket launcher left, so no more shield damage. And 40% on the heavy rocket launcher, and just a shield generator right after that, and it will be a loss. ISD-III regenning shields now, showing that it is having absolutely no mercy against this Nebula. And there it goes again. A lot more damage dealt this time, just purely based on the Nebula's positioning. And there we go. I guess maybe the hard AI has a bit more of an advantage than the easy. But so we'll definitely put the Rebellion on hard AI again. We pit two Nebula Star Destroyers against this massive ISD-III. Beautiful ship. And here we are. This is another custom-made map. I'm going to put him on the hard AI and start the game. So again, just going to allow the AI to specifically work here. Don't want to interfere with anything on this match. I think this could be a close one, you know, especially with the double. We've got double the squadrons here on the Rebellion side. So just bringing in that ISD now. That ISD is taking an awful lot of shield damage right away. That dual heavy ion cannon being utilized effectively there. Wow. There is going to be some struggle here, that's for sure. It seems to be tacking with its rocket launcher straight onto the Nebula Star Destroyer on the right. And it's turning the positioning of that ship, I'm guessing, to utilize all of the hard points here. Wow. This is going to be a really just like a straight up win for the Nebula, it seems.
Destroyer here.
Yeah. ISD is really struggling to take on both of these ships at the same time. I guess that just goes to show just how much power is packed into that small ship compared to the ISD-III. It's definitely at least 4 times the size of a Nebula Star Destroyer. So seeing the ISD-III on half hull points, hard points all on the front of the hull being taken out now. All of its rocket launchers being taken out. Heavy laser cannon being taken out as well. Yep, it definitely seems like a clear winner here. And that Nebula, and it's only dealing half shield points in that Nebula Star Destroyer, and nothing on this one on the right. Interesting. That is quite the difference. I thought it would be a bit more of a closer matchup, especially with how that Nebula Star Destroyer didn't necessarily do that much damage overall. But wow, this is insane.
Our primary engine system is
I thought it would have just doubled up and evened out, but it looks like it's definitely gone more than double and probably 2/3 instead, or damage dealt. And I think that's also got to do with the fact that you've got double the squadrons here, for sure. There we go. So there you have it, ISD-III versus Nebula Star Destroyer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reattempt playing against the single Nebula Star Destroyer and effectively take out his shield generators with our rocket launchers and bombers, and see how quickly we can destroy it 1v1. So I will see you in that final match in just a second. And we are back. So first things first, we want to get the ISD-III straight onto that shield generator without fail.
Order confirmed. Destroy
the range is not amazing, so of course we're not going to see. We're not going to see any long-range attacks here. The ISD-III definitely has to get right in on there. There goes the active ability on the Nebula Star Destroyer. Notice we didn't see that in use at all during the 2v1.
I copy.
Eating through the shields fast enough before we can even get to the shield generator. That bomber finally getting in on that shield generator, being chased down by the Nebula squadrons instead. See how far we can get that stuff. Okay, well, shield generator's down already, so the shields are down, sorry, so seems like we do too much damage to effectively go for the shield generator first. Let's go for the hard-hitting hard points instead. So heavy iron cannon there, and we'll go for the rocket launchers right after. Really stripping back that ship's heavy, hard-hitting hard points. A lot of hard being used. Let's get this iron cannon out. This one should be a bit easier to take out, especially since it's right in our vision. And, yeah, we don't have to worry about the hangars or anything like that for now. The ship is probably going to be a bit more dangerous than the fighters it's spawning, because they're so caught up with our fighter spawns.
Is the laser cannons. Your command, sir. Engaging the enemy.
Go. Yeah, back down. So about half health here.
Commander.
But obviously we'll regen some health now that these iron cannons have been taken out. The heavy rocket launcher has been taken out too.
Roger that.
There goes a hangar anyway.
Form up. Destroyer here.
Okay, so I guess the AI kind of like just did relatively the same here. I guess it doesn't really matter what hard points you tackle.
I copy.
results kind of come off as the same. So I'm gonna stop manually
Reporting.
editing and just having a look at this spectacle. Look at that! Wow. Absolutely decimated. ISD-III, certainly a powerhouse. Definitely struggled against two of the nebulas though. I'm more fascinated not by the fights itself, but by how the power output really goes above and beyond when there's two Nebula Star Destroyers. So insane to see what it'd be like with like 3 or more, much like you'd see with Hapen class battle dragons, much more effective in a group. So perhaps that could be said the same as Nebulas, especially with their active ability being shield regen. I'm unsure what the active ability is in other mods like Thrawn's Revenge and such. But there you have it, guys. That was the
Star
ISD-III
Destroyer standing by.
versus Nebula Star Destroyers. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Charlie, you have been watching Eckstoo, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.